Hey, hope everyone's doing okay. Peacemaker, the season finale episode, season 2, episode 8, season finale, Full Nelson. This is a review. We have spoilers in it. Hey, this is Silver Age. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Want to hear your commentary. I want to say right up front, my expectations for this episode, I was trying not to let them be sky high after the last episode, which I thought was incredible. And I gave it my second highest rating. And then all the noise to the internet, we have total freaking misdirection by Gunn, overhyping this damn thing. What can I say? Full Nelson. What did Full Nelson? Gunn fooled all of us. Full Nelson. We were thinking, oh my goodness, this might be, Nelson Kent might be introduced. Dr. Fate might be introduced. Maybe we'll see his helmet as a key thing. And Gunn went and said, hey, we're going to have some major cameos in this. My gosh, guys. And the Full Nelson, it turns out Full Nelson was referring to the night on the boat with Harcourt and Peacemaker. And it turns out they kissed. That was all that happened on the boat. Nothing more than that. And it was because there was this thing, international superstar band called Nelson, Full Nelson. That's what this whole thing was referring to. And the other thing you think about Full Nelson, you think about the wrestling stuff with John Cena. Oh, okay, yeah, there's a wrestling move. So if you go back a few episodes, when Harcourt kind of knocked him out, or then I kind of knocked him out, saving him for his life, that's the closest thing you have a Full Nelson in this whole friggin' series. And even that's not true Full Nelson, because basically, you got him wrapped around, your arms are wrapped up and you can't see anything. It's kind of like that, but that's the closest thing we had to a Full Nelson. And then the cameos. Really? This is the really only, I consider, a real legitimate cameo. Foxy Shazam, that's the real band. They appeared. They're the ones that are doing the song that you hear. Not that quite yet. In this, you see in that, they're singing that song. It's like, okay, that's really the only true cameo. The only other cameos that we really seem to have are the ones from Superman, where some of Luthor's gang members are part of Argus now. And then the only other thing we saw was the defense secretary. Those I don't call major cameos. So he oversold this. And then you're telling the audience, James Gunn, that the episode 6 and number 8 were your favorite episodes? No, this episode, no, definitely no. I just want to go back here for a second. So back here, my rating, I give it a 10. Notice, that's second from the bottom of my rating scale. The only reason anybody should care about this thing are the people who are invested in watching Peacemaker, maybe the DC Universe. There is no other reason to watch this thing. The acting, no. And does this eventually set something up for a future Superman film or something like that? Yeah, but there's nothing. It's just it's bad. I'm going to say that I have, by the way, I have not looked at any other reviews at this moment. So I'm saying this was bad. Not boat anchor bad, but bad. And so here, I want to go back to the dance scene. Now, I know there's probably been some things about this. This is the last one. You will see Flagg spread out, diving. I think that's symbolic of Flagg throwing his career, his life, to do everything he can to get Peacemaker, pay a price. And you see Peacemaker's head down. He's the one that's going to suffer stuff. And like I said, this already got spoilers in it. He doesn't die in this, but he does get really screwed in this. And then you can see Captain Terrific was about to jump on him. And I think that's the future thing that one day we're going to see Captain Terrific be supervillain that we may eventually see somewhere in the DC universe. Now, if you look even more closely at this bottom row, once again, you see Flagg down there. You see Senna with his head down. And then you see the guy that was the Eagle Killer, but we know he's dead as well. So dead, stretched out, impacted, hardcore feeling the emotions in the moment. And one of his best friends going, and the Eagly is trying to control, get these guys hyped up and grow as a team, and that kind of does happen even better in this episode. And, we were all so hyped into the doors stuff, opening doors. And, that hand, trying a few doors, some won't open, some do open. Opening it, opening this up to other universes. Yeah, we thought we were going to see something interesting. Yeah, we saw some interesting things. We almost saw we saw the imps. Imps we've seen reference to before, chomping down a few people, almost getting hardcore in this one. Then they go into a zombie planet. Got to have zombies. I mean, we have to have zombies, period. Then we have this, which I made reference to before, is from somewhere back in the 50s. It was a horror comic. I still don't remember the exact name of that, but there's reference to that. And there's reference to them walking into a potential black hole, which might be the black hole that could have happened if Metropolis got swallowed by Luthor's screwing up shit. So you got all that. And then we see, actually we confirm at this point Flagg's descent into madness, because all these people around him, they're Luthor cronies, and he's passing information back and forth to Luthor every day for analysis while he's in this, I guess, glorified rich prison type thing. And you can see them all laughing. Flagg has lost it. Flagg is out there for vengeance. He's also bought into Luthor's plan to find a place to throw the metahumans, that there's no way they can ever come back to this planet, supposedly. This supposedly is the thing to do. And he's lost it. He wants pure, unadulterated vengeance on top of it on Chris Smith, Peacemaker. And then he's gone mad here because he doesn't even think what he's really doing. And then here we do see economists searching for Eagly, because this is when Peacemaker's still in prison and Eagly is down, and he's really the only one who really seems to care about Eagly heavily, other than Chris. And I think that's important. And then in the last episode, there was this whole conversation with Judo Master and Letta, saying, your partner, you know what you want, but you're not really listening and understanding what she wants. You have to find a way to reconcile this. So in a way, this is reconciling. So this episode, they kind of try to close some loose ends, and so they eventually decide to go their separate ways. But before that, on this, you got the money. As we found out, this money in prior episodes, Vigilante got this from drug lords and all kinds of stuff. It's evil, tainted money, and he just storing it. And she convinces him that he's got to use that money. Evil money can produce some good. And so one of the things they did is they get Chris out of jail with bail money, and eventually they build their new team. We see that a little bit. So then, they continue searching for planets, and they find this planet that's got good Earth air, stuff like that. And they're going to call this eventually salvation. But once again, this is the madness that is taking place in Flagg's mind, that he wants someplace to throw metahumans and throw the key away, leaving them trapped. And the quasi-girlfriend, Sasha, who's definitely a metahuman herself, she's laying in bed with Flagg, and she finally realizes, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? So anyway, she's sitting there, and she's thinking, I got to stop this. This is crazy. So she makes a phone call to Harcourt. Harcourt almost doesn't answer it, but does. They agree to meet at the burger place, which led into the whole Full Nelson night. And you can see Sasha really talking to Harcourt. Harcourt's not really doesn't seem to buy into it, but eventually, because of how passionate Sasha is, and this part's good acting. Sasha convinces her that there's a problem, and they decide they have to go find Peacemaker, who decided to go in hiding, and to hide from his friends and all that kind of stuff. And so they start a team, and they find a way to find him. And this is where I got a little ahead of myself, and this was the breakup I talked about between Let and her partner. And this leads to the ability that she can actually now become the leader of the 11th Street gang, I should say. So back to this planet, they check the air, they're good, and they give the information to Flagg, and Flagg is just gone mad, and they all decide they got to quit at that point. And they also convince Vigilante to put the money together to put together this new organization that's kind of counter to Argus, and a few people jump ship, and she grabs and brings with her one of the things. Obstacles are opportunities, and this bunny is something that James Gunn has been wearing on his shirt a lot. So cross-referencing. I thought this was an awesome moment. This is like we talked about a little earlier. Economist is really the one that really does like Eagly, and Eagly finally says, hey, I really like you, pal. And the wing thing is just amazing. We've seen references in this episode. That part's great. And then we see them, the ones that bolted from Argus, teaming together, Sasha, Judah Master, etc. And they look like a happy team until the madness continues. Right before the madness continues, we got Eagly flying over the American flag. Everyone looking up right after they're walking out of their headquarters checkmate. So then, unfortunately, Flagg has his Goonies kidnap, hogtie, bag Chris Smith, throw him through the portal opening, and say, Chris, thank you for volunteering. They fake his signature to be the test subject to make sure everything's okay. Well, Salvation from the comic books is actually a planet that, we've used to send people to. We sent some metavillains to, including Luthor and Joker, but it really is also a place where Darkseid grows and trains his monsters, and that's what Chris is hearing in the background. This freaking episode. I'm so sad. So sad. Disappointed in Gunn. Totally disappointed in Gunn. 100%. I don't know how you can say this is one of your favorite episodes. This episode was bad. Bad. Chopped together. It did not meet our expectations. Wasn't quite to Game of Thrones bad, because here we have things that are leading to other things, and Man Tomorrow and other things in the DC universe, and some good things. And by the way, Checkmate was a partner company in the comic books to Argus, but here it's totally separate and wants to do some good. Just so bad. I want to hear your comments. Norb with Silver Age. I mean, like I said, I have not listened to anybody else at this moment. I will after we get done with this. But this was so disappointing, missing the mark, missing expectations. Doesn't anything to help do world building. We didn't see any potential hints of other villains, although this could be Darkseid, like I said, Darkseid's planet. We don't see anything else. I'll look at your comments again. Norb, Silver Age, please subscribe. Have a great day.